Item number 13 is a request from Potomac Electric Power Company for approval of a revised project operational deadline for its National Harbor Energy Storage Pilot Program project in case number 9619.
Good morning, Mr. Wilson.
Good morning, Mr. Commissioner and Commission. DeAndre Wilson here on behalf of staff. On April 15, 2020, PEPCO filed its energy storage pilot project for the National Harbor site pursuant to Commission Order number 89240 in case number 9619, which established an energy storage pilot program in accordance with the Energy Storage Pilot Project Act. The Commission approved PEPCO's energy storage project by order number 89664 on November 6th of 2020, subject to the general conditions specified in the order and an operational start date of February 28, 2022. On October 1st, 2021, PEPCO filed updated project costs and a request for an extension of the operational start date of the project. The Commission approved the company's request for good cause, and the project's operational start date was moved to September 22nd of 2022. PEPCO now has filed its second request for an extension of the operational start date for its National Harbor project on July 29th of 2022 due to unanticipated project development delays, which include supply chain issues that have impacted the lead time for key energy storage project system components, and for additional approval requests made by the Prince George's County Planning Department. The company does not anticipate a significant cost increase to the overall project budget as a result of these unanticipated project developments, and therefore does not anticipate there being any impact to its primary value streams. The company also determined that the project will not exceed its already approved 50% contingency funding. Should the Commission not approve the company's request, the total stranded cost for the project is estimated at approximately $2.9 million, or 46% of the total project budget, primarily based on the fact that the equipment is specifically designed for this project and therefore redeployment would be difficult since the company has no current plans to construct any other B battery energy storage system projects. Pursuant to Public Utilities Article 7-216 H6II, staff recommends the Commission approve the revised operational start date of April 31st of 2021 for PEPCO's National Harbor project for good cause. Staff would like to note that there have been additional comments filed to this extension request by the OPC and a member of the Prince George's County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. And you noted the two filings that were made. They are on the record. We'll turn to counsel for the utility.
I'm sorry, Honor, did you want the Office of People's Counsel to go first, or would you like me to go first? Okay.
Counsel for the utility.
I'm happy to do so, Your Honor. Good morning once again. Matthew Seegers appearing for PEPCO. Also appearing with me is Mr. Bob Andrikaitis, who's our subject matter expert for this project. We just have a couple of clarifications to make to one clarification to make to staff's buck sheet, as well as the OPC comments and the Prince George's Council member letter. Staff indicates in its buck sheet that the additional costs associated with the recommendations that came out of the mandatory referral process will be covered by the 50% of the contingency budget. I just wanted to clarify that we are still working with our vendor to see how much of our contingency budget will go towards those recommendations, but we do not expect that it will exceed the contingency budget that we updated to this commission in October of last year. Concerning the OPC comments, we are certainly appreciative that OPC supports our extension request. OPC does have a request that the commission include a condition in its approval that it will not approve any further extensions unless for absolutely unforeseen causes. We don't believe that this is necessary just because of the fact that the statute already speaks to this. the statute makes it clear that the commission can grant an extension as long as we come in and show good cause for unanticipated delays. So we don't believe that language is necessary in the commission's approval, should the commission, of course, decide to approve our extension request. And finally, in response to the Prince George's Council member letter, I would like to note that PEPCO has been and continues to have extensive outreach with the community regarding their concerns with this project. Specifically, we've been having monthly community meetings since February of 2021, and we have also conducted several one-on-one meetings with various stakeholders in the community. We've developed detailed information on the project, which has been distributed at these community meetings and posted on PEPCO's website as well as social media platforms. We also hosted an open house in April of 2022, and in each of these we addressed issues such as the safety and the maintenance of the battery, as well as how PEPCO will implement industry best practices and work with local emergency management agencies and the local fire departments to ensure that they have the appropriate training. So with that, we are available if you have any questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Segers. Do commissioners have questions on this item? Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Wilson, let me ask you first, do you know why the staff at MNC PPC didn't want barbed wire on top of the fence as a security measure?
I don't know exactly why they didn't want the barbed wire on top of the fence. From what I think, from my recollection, they're making some changes to their requirements for new projects in their county, in their area, and so I don't know exactly why they may have not requested that. Maybe PEPCO can answer to that as to that reason, but I don't know exactly why. But I do believe they've just been making some upgrades and some changes to their regulations in the county.
Company?
Yeah, good morning. Bob Adriakaitis, project manager for the project. So in response to the question, the concern was more of an aesthetics appearance, so they did not want something that looked utility type, so it was more of an aesthetics more than anything else.
Okay, thank you. So let me ask generally, and either one, staff or company can answer, about the nature of these recommendations in this review process. So when we do a CPCN, PPRP will come up usually with a list of conditions contingent on which approval is contingent upon meeting the conditions. But these say recommendations. Are these recommendations binding in any way? Are they conditional? What are these? What's the nature of these?
Yeah, these are purely recommendations, so the company can choose to implement these or not. When we have reviewed the recommendations, we have chosen to implement the majority of them because we believe that they are actually in the best interest of the community.
So they're not really conditions, and you have some latitude
Correct.
to
That is
negotiate. Okay, very good. That helps my understanding. Thank you.
Commissioner Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for the company, I'm just interested a little more about the site chosen. I'll confess I do pass by there, particularly on Saturdays or Sundays, trying to get to Home Depot without avoiding all the traffic on Oxon Hill Road, so I am familiar with this. Is this particular facility going to be right where the brick structure is of the substation, the existing structure there?
Yeah, so it's roughly a 5-acre property.
Right.
If you're looking like at the front of the property, the substation would be like on the left of the driveway, the entrance driveway. The battery energy storage facility would be directly to the right of the driveway, but set back from the road.
Okay, so it's proposed as a second then brick structure.
Correct.
In addition to the existing brick structure. And the existing brick structure doesn't have barbed wire on it, does it?
No, it does
Okay,
not.
so,
It's an enclosed building.
okay, so does this particular facility, the BESS facility, need additional security in addition to, well, what you already have at the existing substation facility?
Right, so the height of the wall actually is roughly 2 feet above the highest piece of equipment. That would prevent anyone that would want to scale the wall to be able to get into there. So that is a deterrent. We do have some barbed wire that would still remain above the fence because there would be chain link gate, so that would have to be some sort of prevention measure on top of that. We have also installed cameras on our existing substation pointed at this facility, so if there was anyone that was to access the facility, we would be notified of it at our control center.
I see. Okay. And I observe a generally well-maintained site. It's a very mixed-use type of overall neighborhood with a number of different uses. There are some residential. There's some. There is that daycare center not too far, but there's also a large, several large, I guess, automotive repair, welding, that type of structure. So it is a very mixed-use area.
Yes.
Okay. I guess anything else I wanted to know about that? Just I do hear people talking about this project for some reason. There is some landscaping now around the current structure. Is the company planning to augment that in any way?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
just in reaction, I guess, to some of the neighborhood requests.
Yeah, so for multiple facets, we're typically, usually when we approach a project like this, we always look to give back to the community in some way. So in part, we were already planning how to add and enhance the site in some manner. Going through the mandatory referral process, staff also recommended us to add additional landscaping, additional trees on the site, enhance the landscaping, replace the fence, so do other mechanisms to improve the aesthetics of the property. So we will be fully enhancing what is currently existing.
Okay. Good. I guess the other question I have is, it's called the National Harbor Project, but it's several miles from National Harbor. Are there going to be benefits to the, I guess, surrounding areas? I mean, I almost wonder why you didn't call it the Rivertown Shopping Center project, since that's much larger and right there. I'm just curious why National Harbor, and if there is more linkage to the, I guess, more of the surrounding neighborhoods.
Yeah, I think the term came from more of the overall development of an area, kind of being the National Harbor area, but not specifically where this is located. And currently, we're actually calling it the Livingston Road Battery Energy Storage Facility, because that's more specific to what we're constructing and not the National Harbor Battery Project.
Okay, so there is regional, I guess, larger neighborhood benefits to this project.
Yeah.
Has that been communicated to the surrounding areas? Because I think sometimes there's National Harbor is a very Tony type of ritzy place, and then the rest of the neighborhood sometimes feel a little left out. But is that generally being communicated that this is good for the whole region?
Yes, it has been, and we've actually designed it, and we'll be adjusting the way our distribution system is constructed to directly benefit the neighborhood that is adjacent to the battery facility in Livingston.
Right, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Linton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. So unlike Commissioner Richard, I am not familiar with the area. I don't think I've driven by this area before. So, but the best I have in terms of the community's response is the letter that we received from Councilmember Burrows. And there he references some of the interaction that the community members have had with the company. One part of his letter, which was somewhat concerning to me, was the suggestion that the company has repetitively shared major safety, environmental justice, and transparency issues. Could you help me to understand what I understand his concerns regarding, and he's bullet pointed them, so I understand the concerns that some of the residents have. Has there been some challenge with the company communicating with its residents there?
I wouldn't say we've had a challenge. I would say it always comes down to open communication. So as Mr. Seegers mentioned, we have been communicating with the residents for well over or some sort of runoff. So that is primarily their concerns. But in our discussions, we have addressed each one of those and explained what actions we are taking to prevent something to happen. We have brought in third-party experts to help evaluate our designs. We have an in-house safety expert that is also evaluating our designs and is fully educated and has credentials about the design protocols and all the safety standards that we are going to be implementing for the design and construction of the facility.
Okay, so one of the comments that Councilmember Burrows notes is that community members feel their concerns are being ignored. And so by asking for a delay, it seems as though there's a bit of providence here because the company is asking for a delay for a different reason. So perhaps, assuming you're successful in your request, during that delay, you could redouble the effort to try and make sure that the concerns that, well, you're addressing the concerns in terms of safety and other issues, but it's a different issue if consumers feel as though they're being ignored. So that's a different challenge that the company will have to address.
Understood. And we plan to continue our monthly meetings with the community and double our efforts.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Bubar.
Thank you. Actually, I had a couple questions which Mr. Seeger's already answered, so appreciate that. So I just have one follow-up question. Are the remaining permit or the permit requirements that are remaining to be met, are they all from Prince George's County agencies?
Yeah.
No federal?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And does the council have a role in approving, or are they all from to be approved by the executive branch, so to
By the
speak?
executive branch. So they're for DPI and other agencies.
Okay. And I would support Commissioner Linton's recommendations that the efforts be doubled down to address the issues that Mr. Burrows raised in his letter. Thank you.
Understood.
Thank you. Additional questions, Commissioner Richard?
Okay, just one follow-up. I know safety is also a very critical issue for this area. I mean, there is a fire station probably less than a quarter mile from this site. Has the company reached out to that particular fire station to specifically try to address some of the concerns of the community?
Yes, we have, and we're continuing to have those conversations. We've had numerous conversations with them, and actually have invited them to attend some of our community meetings, with the public.
Okay, yeah, because that also seems like a feature. I mean, that fire station is right there, and it's
Exactly.
very, very close. I think you can see it actually from the site. So I think any type of interaction you have with that fire station and reassurance that you're helping to bolster its capabilities would also be, I think, greatly appreciated by the community. So thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any additional questions before we take a vote? Seeing none, I'd move that we approve the revised operational start date of April 31st, 2023 for the company's National Harbor Project, otherwise known as the Livingston Road Project, pursuant to Public Utilities Article Section 7-216, H as in hotel, 6, little 2I for good cause. The vote begins with Commissioner Bubar.
Aye.
Commissioner Linton.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
And Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. The motion is approved.